Welcome back to For the Love of Math. Please remember on this channel I post content usually of a more advanced nature or an interesting nature or non-routine nature when it comes to math. Here's a question. Graph the absolute value of x plus the absolute value of y is less than or equal to 1. So let's construct a coordinate system. Begin with that. All right, here we are. Now let's think about what this inequality says. This is absolute value of x. So that means since this is x and this is y, usually when we're within Q1, both of those quantities are positive. So what does that mean? How does that help us? What I can do is the following here. Just write x plus y is less than or equal to 1. I can drop the absolute value bars because both numbers are already positive, both x and y. So then, because we want to graph the boundary, we really just have to focus on the equal to part, right? So you're going to have x plus y is equal to 1. We can just graph that. So when x is 0, y is 1. And when y is 0, then x is 1 right here. So let's put these in the number line. Try to make things reasonable. Okay, this is about x equals 1. And then same space about here. So this is y equals 1 right here. Okay, and then just connect with a straight line like that. So that part of it is done. Now let's take a look at what happens in Q2 here. Okay, so Q2, what happens to the coordinates? Well, x is negative, but y is positive, so I'm going to put a positive here. Now, what happens to the inequality? Well, since x is negative, you got to take your x with the absolute value bars, drop the bars, and just negate x this way, because if x is a negative number, take its absolute value, you're going to multiply by negative on the outside. Now the y is already positive, so you can just say plus y without the bars, and then less than or equal to 1 at first. But then, of course, what do we do next? Well, here, you want to graph it, the boundary that is, so just say negative x plus y is equal to positive 1. And then when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 1. On the other hand, when y is equal to 0, then we have negative x equals 1. Divide through by negative 1, so x equals negative 1. All right, let's mark that. So that's pretty much, let's see. This is 1 positive, so negative 1 is about here. And then we get the line like this, correct? So this is x equals negative 1. What happens in this quadrant? Quadrant 3. So in Q3, what happens? Well, look at the signs. The x is negative and the y is also negative. So we have this negative combination essentially. So how does this apply to our inequality here? Well, just basically drop the bars and then negate, because you see each of x and y is negative. So you got to drop the bars but then negate like this. So it becomes negative x minus y is less than or equal to 1. Again, you want to mark the boundary, so just make this equal to 1. Negative x minus y is equal to positive 1 equal to. Again, solve by intercepts, the standard process. So when like x is 0, hold on, let me separate this off. All right, so this is like this. Okay, so when x is 0 here, what's left over for y? Well, y then is equal to, plug it in. When x is 0, you have negative y equals 1. So that means y is equal to negative 1. Okay, and then when y is 0, what's left over for x? You have negative x equals 1. So that means that x is equal to negative 1. We already pretty much have these. So this one right here and this one here. Right, this is x equals negative 1. And now negative 1 for the y. That's down here. So y equals negative 1. And that looks like this. There you go. Now in Q4, you could do the same analysis, but very likely you can tell already just by looking at this picture that it seems like we're getting some kind of diamond shape. So I'll just assume that it would be completed the same way, and I'll just draw that piece. But then look, we have an inequality. The question is, what makes the inequality true? So here we can follow a pretty standard procedure, which is we just take the value from the middle, say 0, 0, and we just plug it into the inequality, and we check it. Does it make the inequality true or false, right? So 0 for x plus, and then y is also equal to 0, and we're checking. Is this less than or equal to 1? Often we indicate that by putting a question mark up there, right? Anyway, so this is absolute value of 0 plus absolute value of 0 is 0. Is that less than or equal to 1? Well, this certainly is true, isn't it? So that means that the region to be shaded here is this region, right? This is the region that makes the inequality true, the entire interior. And then this part, lastly, represents our inequality graph. Friends, if you like videos of this kind at a more advanced level or a non-routine level, please be sure to subscribe and then like, and I'll see you in another one.